So it seems like Silverchair is off and running. I'd say it's about 90% confirmed at this point that we're going to see a Silverchair movie. And I think it's pretty reasonable to conclude that we'll probably see one within the next 5 years, probably sooner, I think, but 5 years seems very safe at this point. Next step is to get a director and a release date. That would be big, but we're pretty much there. We're going to see a Silverchair movie. The news here, we've got financing and distribution for the film. The Mark Gordon Company, of course. E1, fully expected that. And then TriStar, financing the film. And then distributing the film, we have Sony and E1. It does seem to line up with what Tom Rothman, head over at Sony, said about TriStar being more filmmaker-driven, being more interested in literary stuff. By the way, Tom Rothman, the head of Sony, was the head of Fox just a few years ago. Some of you are probably thinking, well, what happened to Gresham saying it was going to make the movie independently? And I think, especially at that stage, would it not have been a good idea to take Gresham at his exact word when he said he was making it independently? Of course, we could also debate what does independent film even mean. By kind of the more strict definition of what that means, the Star Wars prequels were independent films, and come on, no one thinks of them as independent films. But I think it was less Gresham outlining a specific plan for how to proceed with the next film, and more about him expressing a wish to keep more control. We know that it's been implied in multiple places that Don Trader kind of got away from him, and he wanted to stay more in control of this one. And I think that probably has positives and negatives, honestly. Having that kind of outside force, kind of peeking over the shoulder of the creators that are actually making the movie. There's pros and cons in this case, and I think probably, this is something I kind of get into over a discussion in the narniaweb.com forum, but yeah, again, he was speaking more about control of the script. Let's develop the script first. Let's feel comfortable with it. Okay, we like this. We're happy. Let's do a few drafts. Okay, cool. Now let's go put that script on people's desks and say, hey, what do you we like the script. Do you like it? Well, give us money for it then. And avoid another thing that happened on Don Treader, which was a lot of cooks in the kitchen and a lack of a clear vision of what movie are we trying to make here. So I think it's like, let's find a few people, kind of a tight-knit group, I would imagine, that, yeah, we like this, now let's find money for it. I think that's, and I like that a lot. Trying to, let's get a single focused vision of what the Silverchair is supposed to be. So that's the optimistic kind of interpretation of what little information we've been given about this production. I hope that pans out. It's still hard for me to kind of shake the more cynical kind of my gut instinct towards the whole production as well. It doesn't seem like the genuine inspiration is there. Ideally, you get someone just look at the book and say, hey, I have an idea for how to make a cool movie out of this, and let me find someone who will give me money for it, rather than let's make this book into a movie. Okay, how are we going to do that? Sort of with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the decision to make the movie, I think, was made before they really had a good idea for how to make the movie. And of course, that happens all the time, in Hollywood. It's not like you can't make a good film that way, but that's the ideal way to do it. But the general reaction among the fan base seems to be positive that they're taking this approach. And it does seem like it's been cool the past week kind of watching the band kind of get back together, and some old friends have kind of returned.
That's not what Glumpuddle looks like. There we go.
Still hoping that I'm actually hoping, like I've said before, that we will see a lower budget Narnia film that will force them to tell a more intimate story. I think the previous films really suffered from huge Lord of the Rings influence, way too much of a Lord of the Rings influence, and the entire world had to be on the line every single time. And, well, yeah, in some of those cases, you could argue with Caspian and Dawn Treader, yeah, the stakes are high, but if you actually read the book, it's a more intimate story about characters learning things. So the emphasis isn't really there. There's a reason why there isn't a giant epic battle at the end of Silverchair, because the real climax is, are Puddleglum, Scrub, and Jill going to follow Aslan signs and set who they assume must be Rillian free, even though they're likely to die because of it? And Puddleglum decides, even though this means he's going to kill us, let's do it anyway. Puddleglum fully expects to die, but says, no, we got to follow Aslan signs. Are they going to be able, and Jill, of course, has been struggling with trust all along. Are they going to actually be able to do that? And the fact that they do and save the prince, that's the real climax of the story. And everything else, in my mind, is just kind of an extended epilogue. So that's what we have to get back to. Let's tell a small, intimate story about this girl, Jill, who has trust issues. We don't even know that all of Narnia is on the line until the very, very end of the book, because it's not important. That's not what the book's about. So I really hope they don't go that route. Anyway, tangent. So a lower budget could kind of force them to do that. So how do I feel about the silver chair? There are, like I kind of outlined, there's a very pessimistic way to view the situation and a very optimistic view. So I don't know what Puddleglum would, if he were in my shoes, what he would be doing. I obviously don't want to see a Narnia movie unless it's quality. You know, I have a real personal investment in it because of the place the book kind of has in my life. So obviously I'll be following the news and posting videos as much as I can. And, you know, I'm looking forward to it. When a new movie comes out, what I've found is it forces you to look at the book in a fresh way. Because I think you realize things about it that are important that you didn't really realize were important until someone threatened to make a version of the story that didn't have those things. And so what I found with the first three movies is they kind of forced me to look at the books with a fresh perspective and kind of a new understanding of them. So I'm hoping that even if we do get a bad silver chair movie, I'm confident that at least we'll get that. So it looks like this is happening. Here we go again. Please post a comment. By the way, I'm thinking I'm going to start rereading the silver chair soon. And I'm going to be tweeting about it, just thoughts I have on it. We'll see how many thoughts I can fit on Twitter. So if you want to join that discussion, just go ahead and follow me. I'm also posting stuff on Facebook. I'm going to kind of divide this time. I'm going to kind of divide things between YouTube and Facebook, and we'll see how that goes this time around. So here we go again. For better or for worse, let's do this.